Hi, it's Jeffrey. Well, I shuffled. This is Ripe Color. This is a reading for June 6th, Sunday. It's like, oh, are we starting? Is this how we're starting? Okay. Okay. Full disclosure. I've already attempted this reading. And every time I put down cards, it's like, I have no idea what this says. I have no idea what this is about. It's really weird. And because usually I get a feeling, or I get like a story, like I feel it, or I kind of, I don't know, I feel it and then I hear it, I think. Sometimes it's, I don't know. I'm not really sure how it works. But I don't know. It seems to be like plugging things in, but the electricity isn't on, kind of thing. So far, I mean, maybe it'll change. I don't know. I hope so. Or you could just tune in every day and it'll be blank. Like, oh, okay. There are days that it's like, I guess, not usually like that. So, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So maybe that's part of the message. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Strange. The 2. So the 2, well, swords, 2 of swords, 3 of swords, wheel of fortune. Great. Okay. So the 2 of swords, a lot of times, is about a choice. It's an emotional choice, and it's almost like time stands still. This is also one of my eclipse cards. I mean, there's a certain meditation and balance in the card because it's so symmetry, it's so symmetrical. She's kind of holding up these. I almost feel she feels defensive, actually, today. She's like defending her heart with her thought. She doesn't want to see something. Eclipses a lot of times, because the moon and the sun are in a different aspect, right? Sometimes, if you change the lighting, it changes the atmosphere, a little bit like that. So I feel like she's sort of in a waiting pattern for something to change, for her thoughts to change in a way. Okay. Then we get the 3. So this card is about a disappointment, heartache, but it's also, it could be creative thinking because it's a 3. The problem with the deck is that so many of the swords just are about thought or a message. They're in the air, right? They're in the air, and they're somehow fashioned in a way because it has to go through the filter of you, or an email or something like this. It could be a message. It could also be truth. But so many of the swords are negative. So, the 3 of swords could also be like creative thinking. It could be 3 entities, right? Or maybe the 3, remember a couple of days ago, I explained the 3 as, or any 3, as like the union of the duality. could be the 3 too. So maybe it's like, well, do I do A or I do B? Or it's like, well, maybe I should combine the two. Maybe I should combine the two and make something new. That's what it looks like. Because we get the lovely, lovely, lovely Empress, who is all about abundance and creativity and pregnancy. And she's also a 3. So she's fertile and abundant and artistic and intuitive and yeah, you know what? What seems like an issue or a problem actually can be used as an asset. Finally, I'm getting a reading. I've tried whatever. Could be used as an asset. So it seems to be, some sort of burden in a way, or some sort of like overwhelming thought, or two of them, maybe two thoughts that are conflicting, right? You put them together and make something new out of them, then it becomes something worthwhile, you know? Sometimes, like you have a problem and it's like, oh, this is the problem I have to deal with. And, you're like, oh, I don't really want to deal with it. Da, da, da. But I think if you face it, if you take the blindfold off and you face it, it's kind of like, okay, well, this is the problem. Then you deal with it. And, maybe it doesn't come out perfect, but if you dealt with it, it's like, well, you learned something. It's like, oh, that wasn't as big as I thought it was, or this is bigger than I thought it was, or I actually have a skill I didn't know I had. A little bit like that. Actually, I think I think it's about facing your thoughts, your maybe your negative thoughts head on, and um, allowing them to kind of give birth to another way of thinking. You know, Sometimes it's like, oh well, this is the problem I had ahead of me. And it's like, yeah, nobody really wants to deal with a problem. We all want to wake up and everything's perfectly lovely and all that. Um, and sometimes you have something that's in front of you, and it's like, well, how am I going to deal with this? And if you could deal with it in a creative way, maybe combining pieces and parts of it and making it into something useful, right? Because that's what the 3 is really about. That will help you to kind of evolve. Because to me, this is all about it's destiny, la la la. But it's also this is really about evolution. I always feel with this is really about evolving as a human. So little it doesn't just it's not like you wake up one day and you have wings. It's a process. They grow slowly. Um, I feel like if you kind of try to make friends, I know this sounds a little weird, but if you try to make friends with your negative thoughts and see what they have to tell you and how you can work with them in a creative, artistic, abundant, nurturing way, because it has information for you. So it has information for you. So it's like, well, what am I going to, sometimes it's kind of like you have it like a piece of cheese in the refrigerator. It's just about to go bad and it's really little. It's like, well, how can I use this? It's like, oh, well, there's also, a piece of vegetable or fruit or whatever that's also like on its last leg. And it's like, if I don't use it by today, I have to throw it away. So maybe the two of them, I can make this fantastic omelet or whatever and make it something useful instead of saying, well, this is a problem, right? Oh, I have this problem, I have that problem. And like I don't really want to move and I don't really want to do anything and I'm just going to sit here and pretend nothing's wrong. It's like, well, maybe if you actually deal with them and use them and manipulate them, you can actually become something more fruitful. Very, yeah. I'm really going all these different places today. And that will help you to keep the wheel spinning, right? Keep the wheel spinning. Sometimes, especially over the past few months, it's like I had things that I had to deal with, and it's like, and I'm not really like that. Like I had to take photos for my website, and they're not easy. It's not what you think. It's done. It's like you might have to do that 8, 9, 10 times, and then take it into Photoshop, and then So I like it took me weeks to start, which is not like me. Like whatever it is, it's like having a rock in your shoe. It's like having a rock in your shoe, and like walking around with the rock in your shoe, and saying, if I don't walk, then I don't have to deal with the problem. It's like, no, take the rock out and make a little bracelet out of it or something. I can't think of anything else to do with a rock. Pebble. Not a rock. Pebble. I have a rock in my shoe. How can I make this work for me? Why am I receiving this, and how can I make this work for me? Right? What's there to learn here? Because if I learn something from it, then it becomes abundant. If I learn something from it, then maybe I actually access. Sometimes there are things that become so overwhelming. It's like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. It's like sometimes if you're forced to do it, it's like, well, actually, I kind of did it. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's like, well, that wasn't as intimidating as I thought it was going to be. That wasn't as frightening. Didn't take as long, or etc. And it being this 3 thing again. Now I'm really going. It being a 3 thing again. Maybe ask for another person's input, or right, like invite another energy in, maybe to like make peace, or put the 2 things together. It's kind of like that. It's very creative, sort of. Let's use the thing that we didn't want to use, the thing that we've been avoiding. How can I actually make it into something valuable? Make it into something valuable. Alchemy, right? Turning the base metal into gold. There you go. Some of you think it's about living forever. And if you like to think so, that's wonderful. If you can figure it out and want to send me some, I'll have it. All right. Blessings to you. And this overall is the wheel is turning in your favor. So, problem is an opportunity to grow. Boy, am I the optimist. I mean, how did I get that from this card? All right. Blessings.